Alright. Okay, so this week on Cooking 101, we're thinking of tasty, homemade holiday gifts that you can share with family and friends. And Jen, what are we making this week?
So this week, rather than the traditional Christmas cookie, which I had been baking for years and years, I always like to look for an alternative to give to family and friends. And a couple years ago, I started making this tasty caramel pecan popcorn, and everyone raves about it. So I'd love to share with you how to make it today.
Sounds great. Let's see how it's done.
Okay, so today we're making caramel popcorn for the holidays. And to start out, what you first need to do is make sure you preheat your oven to 250 degrees because we're going to be cooking the caramel popcorn for about an hour. But first I'm going to start with making the caramel. So in my pot here, I have 1 stick of butter that I've started to melt. And to it, I'm going to add about a cup of brown sugar and 1/4 cup of corn syrup. Make sure you get all of it in there. And 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And I want to mix all this around, get it nice and evenly coated. And I want to heat it until the brown sugar is completely melted and it's just starting to come to a boil. So while that's doing that, I'm going to talk a little bit about the popcorn because you need to actually have popcorn to make the caramel popcorn. So in a pan here, I have pre-popped about 12 cups of popcorn. So you can use an air popper, you can use microwave popcorn, just make sure that it's plain, doesn't have a lot of butter or artificial flavoring on it. You can even use raw popcorn kernels, put them in a paper bag and microwave them, and you can actually kind of make your own microwave popcorn that way. So you want about 12 cups. And I have it in a cake pan, an 11 by 15 cake pan, but you can use any kind of pan that's you know, big enough in size to sort of hold the popcorn. You can use those aluminum foil ones you can get at the grocery store, whatever you have. And I'm also going to add to it about a cup of pecan halves. I'm just going to sprinkle these over top. And once our caramel is done, we're going to pour it into the pan with the popcorn and mix it all right in here. So once your caramel sauce is coming to a boil, while you're stirring it, you want to add your baking soda. And this is where you want to make sure you're not using too small of a pan, because once you add the baking soda, it is actually going to start to cause the caramel to rise a little bit. So make sure it's all mixed in. And you can see it's going to start to bubble and kind of lighten in color, and that's the baking soda doing what it needs to. So I'm going to let it sit for a little bit, let it rise. And then you're ready to pour it over your popcorn. So very gently, be careful because it's hot. Try and get it as evenly poured as possible over the popcorn, and then we're going to mix it all in. I like to go back and forth just to get it evenly distributed. Any blank spots you see, try and cover it up. You got to use a spatula. I recommend using one of these rubber spatulas and start to just fold the popcorn over itself to try and get it as well coated in the caramel as possible. And once you think you have it well coated, that's when we're going to put it in the oven to 250 degrees and for an hour. But every 15 minutes, you take it out and you do this again. You kind of fold it over itself and coat it so that all that caramel is getting really well distributed across the popcorn. Okay, so once your caramel is all evenly coated, it's ready to go in the oven. And like I said, you do bake it for an hour. Every 15 minutes, take it out and carefully do that same kind of stirring, folding motion to sort of mix it around real well. Let it cool at the end, and then you can either wrap it in these nice little cello bags to give as gifts to family and friends for the holidays, or just enjoy it yourself as a nice little snack or at your next holiday party. Enjoy.